So what profession should you pick in Mist of Pandaria? This I will help you decide in this video and mention all the different benefits of each individual profession. The first one being alchemy. A flask usually lasts for 1 hour. If you're being an alchemist, it will now last for 2 hours, but also have an improved stats. In this case, instead of 1500, it will now be 1740. There's also a new rejuvenation potion that requires you to be 500. This will restore a lot more health and mana. There will also be new transmutes you can do to make some gold in the beginning when there's going to be a high demand for different rare gems. The new alchemist stone is also super beneficial in phase 1 or as any fresh level 90 character. Be aware you can also use this at level 85 and benefit from this as you're leveling up. Next up, blacksmithing. As you're leveling up, but also at level 90, you will get a lot of Spirit of Harmony. These are required to craft many different bind and equip blacksmithing items. All of these items are plate, so if you are a plate user, you will also benefit from these. But remember, they're also bind and equip, so you could sell them on the auction house. The biggest benefit of choosing this profession is that you will also be able to get 2 additional sockets, one for your braces and one for your gloves. Sadly, there's not going to be new epic gems later on. Epic gems in this game will require you to also be Jewelcrafting, so as we're progressing into new phases, it's not like this is getting better. But it is useful as you can choose whatever gem you would like, where some other professions will for example only give you more stamina, intellect, strength or agility. Engineering is in my opinion the best profession throughout the entire expansion. In the beginning you can for example craft an engineering head and there's going to be one for each type: cloth, leather, mail and plate. These headpieces also allow you to apply 2 cogwheel sockets into them, so for example getting a lot of expertise in the beginning, which is an important stat for many melee users and also hunters. You should also look forward to the goblin glider. This you can apply to your cloak and be flying for 30 seconds. It's not just a parachute from Wrath of the Lich King, no, it's a glider, so you can travel so far. It's also extremely powerful in PvP situations or when you need to get away from a difficult fight. You can also look forward to 3 new glove enchants, the first one doing a lot of fire damage over 3 seconds, and you can shoot this at long range. Super useful in phase 1 PvP as it's doing so much damage when people don't have a lot of health. The next one for tanks, increasing your dodge by a high amount for 10 seconds. This will stay relevant throughout the entire expansion, and it's also the same case with the other one that increases your primary stat by 1920 for 10 seconds. And yes, night tributes is still in the game, which will help you a lot when you're going to achieve gold mode in challenge mode dungeons and hopefully get your challenge mode sets. You can also craft 2 new mounts you can sell on the auction house, but they will be very expensive. I expect the wall spinner to probably go for around 100k and the rocket for close to 80k. What about enchanting? Well, you can of course sell enchants to people and make gold, but there will also be specific enchants on your rings that requires you to be an enchanter. These enchants can be applied to each of your rings, increasing your agility, intellect or strength by 160, and if you apply the stamina version, it will instead be 240. But you can apply these to both of your rings. The downside is that you will only be able to choose these 4 stats, where if you for example need more hit, expertise or mastery, well then you won't really benefit that much from the profession. Which is why Jewelcrafting might actually be better. Yeah, jewel crafters can craft rare gems you can sell to people or use in your own gear. It is good for gold making, but you can for example also craft epic gems. You will be able to apply a total of 2 of these, but the stats are also twice as high compared to a rare gem. And like I mentioned, well, with enchanting you will only be able to choose between the 4 stats, where with Jewelcrafting you can choose whatever you like, which is why I also like this profession a lot. Let's say I don't need a lot of hit at some point, well then I could change my 2 gems into something else like mastery. This makes the profession very useful throughout the entire expansion. Is Inscription a good profession? Well, you can craft different rare and epic shoulder enchants you can sell to other people. There's also a better version, but this requires your Inscription to be maxed out. The downside is that you will now only be able to choose between the different stats applied by the enchant, so you can't really choose whatever stat you prefer. However, you can also craft the Scroll of Wisdom, a material required to craft different Dark Moon cards. These cards will be extremely expensive in the beginning, and there's a specific reason for this. Once you have combined the different cards, you can also turn this into an epic trinket, and there's going to be 5 different versions for all the specializations in the game. So DPS, Healer, and Tank. Because these trinkets are so overpowered in phase 1, then it also makes this profession so useful in the beginning of Mist of Pandaria. Is leatherworking also a good profession? Well, you can craft different leg armors you can sell on the auction house, and as a leatherworker, you can also craft the same kind of version, but this will only be applied to your own legs. The benefit is that these are also way cheaper to craft. You can only apply them to your own legs, but it also only requires you to bring one of these threads. An additional thing that is pretty nice for leatherworkers is that you can make a better version of the brace enchants. Enchanters can also make these enchants, but they're just not as powerful. The downside is that you will once again have to choose between agility, intellect, stamina, or strength. However, the stamina version are also better compared to the 3 others, as it increases our stamina by 750. What I would also like to highlight is that you can craft many different mail and leather PvP items, useful in the beginning as a first level 90 character when you need to start PvPing or just to quickly boost your item level. You can also craft many different epic items, and these will also be for leather and mail users. So if you're playing either a shaman, hunter, rogue, druid or monk, then this profession is actually not too bad at all. Tailors can also craft different leg enchants they can sell on the auction house. But there's also going to be a version you can apply on your own legs that will also be a lot cheaper to craft. So this is the first benefit. On top of this, there will also be different cloak enchants, and yeah, here it doesn't really require you to be a cloth user, as one of these will increase your attack power by 4000, the other one increase your intellect by 2000, so this is just good for any spellcasters, and the last one for healers, increasing your spirit by 3000. All of these buffs will last for 15 seconds, and it's a proc, so not a use effect, but it only has a 1 minute cooldown, which is absolutely insane. What about gather professions? Are they any good? Skinning will increase your critical strike by 480. This can be useful as many different classes, if you need this stat of course. Where mining will increase your stamina, so it's mainly just useful for any tanks out there, which is why I feel like skinning is better. Just remember that these professions are also making a ton of gold in phase 1, so not only will you increase your stamina and critical strike, you will also be able to make a ton of gold. Herbalism will give you Life Bloom that increases your haste by a high amount for 20 seconds. It has a 2 minutes cooldown, but it is actually not too bad, especially considering the fact that you can combine this cooldown together with many other things and your trinkets. What about secondary professions? First aid is always mandatory to level, as you can use this in PvP, but also in PvE if your healer is out of mana. Cooking and fishing is not mandatory, but it's great for gold making and also additional buffs. Is it worth spending the time leveling archaeology? Definitely. You can get level 85 items, but the item level is extremely high, so you can use this on a fresh level 90 character as well, which is why this is a profession you gotta level up. Also because this is a secondary profession, so you can still choose 2 other main professions. But what are the best professions to choose? Well, this you can see right here in my tier list, engineering being the only one at the top, as it provides so many benefits no matter if you like to PvE, PvP, or a combination of both. At the second highest comes Jewelcrafting and Blacksmithing, as you can choose 2 additional gems or 2 additional sockets and choose whatever stat you prefer the most. For some classes, Tailoring could in fact also be in this category because of the cloak enchants, but I've placed it together with Enchanting, Leatherworking and Alchemy, as it won't benefit every single class in the game. The reason for placing Enchanting, Leatherworking and Alchemy here is because you can't really choose the stat you would like, but you will still be able to make gold from these professions and also get some kind of benefit stat-wise. When it comes to Inscription, yeah, I guess in phase 1 we could place this probably in A or B because of the Dark Moon sets making you a ton of gold and also being able to use these yourself and get a huge benefit. But as we progress into Mist of Pandaria, then this profession is not that great. I've placed it together with skinning and herbalism because of this, and at the bottom mining because tanks will only benefit from the stamina. If you like this video, then you will definitely also like a lot of my other Mist of Pandaria videos. Soon I will also publish a lot more useful guides, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.